Hey everyone, Ben here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we're trying to grow on the platform, and turn on the notification bell to be notified of all uploads and live streams. And if you did like today's video, then don't forget to hit a like down below because it helps other people to find our videos, and don't forget to comment down below on any suggestions for content that you have, or comment about today's content. Let me know what you thought. Let's get into the video. Alright, so for the next Steel Path Viable build on the channel, we're going to be taking a look at the weapon Atomos. So Atomos is a Mastery Rank 5 weapon that you can pick up straight from the market once you reach Mastery Rank 5. And it's actually a super solid weapon for the late game of Warframe. Now, like I said every time, if you want to see more like this, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, you know, all the good stuff. Don't forget to join me on my socials, those are all linked down below, and turn on notifications for any uploads and streams that get done. So, Atomos is a beam weapon that spreads to other enemies and can also be used as a decent primer if you want to prime statuses on enemies, but it's also good just for raw damage. But let's jump into the build. So we're running Hornet Strike for 220% damage. Now, you can replace this with the equivalent of the Bane mods if you want to. I just run Hornet Strike because I always forget to change them per faction, but you don't need to run this. You can run the equivalent of the Bane mods if you want. We're running Galvanized Shot for 80% status chance and on kill, plus 40% direct damage per status type effect in the target for 14 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Galvanized Diffusion for 110% multi-shot and on kill, plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. We're running Lethal Torrent for 60% fire rate and 60% multi-shot. We're running Stunning Speed for 40% reload speed and 30% status chance. Jolt for 60% electricity and 60% status chance. Pistol Pestilence for 60% toxin and 60% status chance. We're running Trick Mag for 90% ammo maximum, and Pistol Ammo Mutation converts primary ammo pickups to 50% of ammo pickup for pistols. And our Arcane is Cascadia Flare on heat status effect, 12% damage for 10 seconds, stacks up to 480%. So on this weapon we're running a heat and corrosion build. Now you may be wondering why I'm running 2 different ammo mods. It's because this weapon runs out of ammo very quickly if it's all you're using. So odds are, in this video I might not even be able to show you the Acolyte because of how quickly you rinse ammo in this thing. This thing rinses ammo like crazy. We're running Heat and Corrosive, so we're going to completely melt that armor, but the heat status itself is to proc Cascadia Flare, which is going to increase our damage tenfold. You can run Secondary Merciless on this, but it's not as high damage. So be forewarned, if you're running Secondary Merciless, you will not get as much damage. But we're running a 69.3% status chance, which is a lot better than you think because it's a beam weapon, and beam weapons constantly hit. You're going to be hitting those statuses quite a lot. But let's jump into the mission and I will show you what we can do. Alright, so we're here at Oxymonko in the Void. Before we get into this, I'm going to quickly explain why we're here. I do every video. So the reason we're here in the Void is for a couple of reasons. One, because this is one of the latest points naturally you can get to in the Steel Path, therefore making it harder. We also come here because you deal with every kind of enemy type here. You deal with enemies with high armor, high health, and shields and health, giving you a more varied idea on what your weapons can actually do. Of course, if you're running Bane mods, then I highly recommend running Bane of Corrupted. And thirdly, this place is decent when it comes to enemies. You will find a lot of enemies, so let's jump in. So the weapon itself will start off slightly slow. There we go. So as soon as you start proccing 1, that's it. You'll start proccing a lot of damage on a lot of enemies very quickly. Now, this weapon is great because when it comes to, at least with this build, because when it comes to removing armor, you have no problem with doing so. Now, just quickly proccing off Grendel. My Grendel build was the last build I did because of the update. Grendel is now fantastic for the Steel Path. So, don't forget to check out that build. It's in the Warframe playlist, along with every other build I've ever done. God, at this point, I don't even know how many Steel Path builds I've done. I've done quite a few. Like, at this point, I'm unsure as to how many I have done. But as you can see, we are absolutely destroying everything. Like, no enemies are safe with this weapon. It's honestly insane how good Atomos is for the Steel Path. It's really good for crowd control, too, because of the carry-on damage. If you've got a bunch of enemies that are grouped up, that's it. You are really going to do a lot of damage. Now, of course, this can work better in conjunction with other weapons as well. Like I said, if you want to prime up a couple of statuses in order to be able to get some damage off, you can feel more than free to do so. But this weapon stands on its own. Now, I've seen a lot of people not use Atomos because of Kuvanuka, and that's a fair point. Kuvanuka, you know, technically is a better weapon. However, like, Atomos, unlike Kuvanuka, is a lot more readily accessible for a lot of people because of its low mastery rank requirements, not to mention Kuvanuka requires you have beaten a Kuva Lich in order to get, and that's not accounting for getting multiple versions of the same weapon so you can power up its main status types. So, Atomos is more readily accessible for most people, as opposed to Kuvanuka. Not that you shouldn't use Kuvanuka, I mean, I would honestly recommend using Kuvanuka over Atomos, but for, like, if you're like me and you have both weapons, I can readily switch between the two at any given time, just because I don't need to keep running Kuvanuka over and over again. Like, I can if I want, but sometimes you just don't want to, you know? Now, like I said, my Grendel build is on the playlist, and Grendel is fantastic. Since the update, Grendel does work. Like, he does a lot of work. What now? Oh, there you are. But thanks to Cascadia Flare proccing because of the heat status we have on this thing, the damage you get on this is ridiculous. Like, it's honestly nuts. Cascadia Flare, if you're running heat on any of your secondary weapons, I highly recommend it as your main arcane. Mainly just because of how much damage it can do. Like, this thing racks up damage like no one's business. It's honestly nutty how wild the damage is. So we're going to go ahead and keep taking these out. In a moment, I will skip ahead to when the Acolyte spawns in, just to show you what this thing can do to an Acolyte. Honestly, it can take out Acolytes pretty fast. If you don't really want to watch till that point, then feel free to just take my word for it. It does alright against Acolytes, like, depending on how quick you can melt their armor anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna cut, and I will skip ahead to when the Acolyte comes in. Alright, Acolyte spawning, and that actually wasn't too long. And we still have a decent amount of ammo, which is nice. Who we got? We got Mania. Okay. Hello, Mania. So getting rid of those shields is a little bit slow because of how Acolytes work. Ow! Okay, all that can happen, sure. So, Atomos is decent when it comes to getting rid of the health, but not so good for the shields. So, be forewarned about that. I don't really want to re-record, so that will just remain in the video, but yeah. That can happen, by the way, even with high armor Warframes. The Acolyte can easily wreck you, so be careful of that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more like this, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. You know all the good stuff. Don't forget to turn on notifications, join me on my socials. Those are all linked down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.